Ladies and gents, how you doing? I haven't got a lot of time today, so I'm just going to do one on the fly. And this is going to be a simple video whereby I've ruthlessly ripped the piss out of some of the ridiculous people on Twitter in the last 24 hours who've had messages either directed towards me or highlighted to me. The 90% of the platform is as thick as a doctor's sandwich. It's just rank stupidity by insane lefties on there. So I thought, why not just take the piss out of them for a little bit, eh? Nice simple premise for a video. First up, we've got this. The British government is refusing to allow seriously wounded Palestinian children to come to the UK for specialist treatment. First thing to say about this one is, he's probably the child. Yeah, the child. Looks about 30. Then we put him in a maths class with a load of 14-year-olds, and they're all on TikTok going, why is there a hairy-ass bloke sat behind me in maths? Yeah, of course we're not allowing them because the queue for the NHS is now busier than you find in a UN food handout in Somalia. It's not like it's not being taxed to its very limits by third world inhabitants anyway. They just think we have an endless supply of doctors and nurses, like I grow them out of my arse and they all just pop a hat on them and they turn up fully trained, ready to work. There's already a 10-month waiting list. What do you mean we're refusing to allow them? There's no space. There's a 10-month waiting list. And if you're a 63-year-old English bloke who's paid into the system for 45 years, I don't think you should be having to wait 10 months and an extra day because we're flying in more patients from all four corners of the globe, you dopey twat. Jesus wept. Do these people not think resources are finite? Like doctors and nurses and hospital beds just appear whenever you wish for it. Isn't the waiting list even longer than that? And I'm not exaggerating enough. Isn't it something like 2 years at this point? Can you imagine? You have to wait 2 years. Oh no, sorry, add another 3 weeks on because we're flying a few thousand more Palestinians in for treatment. Shut up and get in the back of the line. We like queues in Britain and you're at the back, so wind your neck in. Christ. Prime Ministers shouldn't lie. Rishi Sunak lied. Saying politicians shouldn't lie is like saying rain shouldn't be wet. It's what they all do, regardless of affiliation, and it's what they've done for 90 years. No, scratch that, 9,000 years. Since time immemorial, since the word politician was invented, they've lied. Matthew Stadlen is an utter imbecile. If a 5-year-old child with Down syndrome was taunted on the playground by the other kids shouting, "You're like Matthew Stadlen," the child would be very upset. They'd instantly recognise the name and go, "I'm not that thick. Mongo definitely clever than Matthew Stadlen." Jesus, the bloke's a lunatic. Did he say the same thing about Boris Johnson? Yeah, probably did. And David Cameron, anybody else? It's just, the whole platform's just full of these inane platitudes by ludicrous ideologues who all said they were going to leave Twitter anyway. You know what I mean? Like, these things aren't even worthy of rebuttal, but it's a slow day. If we had listened to people like Diane Abbott, we would be living in a better world. If I'm re-elected, I'll carry on campaigning alongside her in Parliament. We'd be living in a better world where nobody can put their own shoes on properly, where the average person hasn't got the brains to get dressed on a morning. We'd be living in a world so innumerate that calculators wouldn't work properly. Diane Abbott is the thickest MP in the UK, and that's a very low bar. That's a very inept selection of people to choose from. Diane Abbott got the job because she's a big fat woman from an ethnic minority. That's it. That's it. If she wasn't in politics, they wouldn't give her a job in Lidl. The manager would be like, yeah, you need at least something to stack shelves in Lidl, and that lass is as thick as 2 short planks. So, how would we be living in a better world if everybody in it was an idiot? Within democratic society, there's a long righteous tradition of resisting fascists with force. Far right must be made to be terrified of leaving their houses. Incredible that people incapable of understanding some politicians are different to others. This bloke said he wants to make you terrified of even leaving the house, so you can guess what he looks like. A, he looks like he couldn't knock the fluff off a cappuccino. And B, his pinned tweet says, "I grew up trying to find salvation amongst memories of domestic violence and bullying and loneliness. It's quite raw and personal, and I'm scared about sharing." I'm scared about sharing a tweet. And I've been the helpless victim of sexual assault many, many times. So let me ask you this. If you can't even guard your own shitbox, how are you gonna how are you gonna make the far right terrified in their own homes? You can't even guard your own ring piece, mate. You look like you couldn't knock the skin off a rice pudding. A big burly scaffolder isn't going to be intimidated by a bloke who dresses like Avril Lavigne and leaves a snail trail everywhere he walks. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I don't know where these people get the confidence from to write this stuff, but it's laugh out loud funny. Anyway, there's just a handful I've noticed today. Brilliant, that, innit? Brilliant. Ben Smoke, he's going to make you terrified to leave the house. How is he going to achieve that? The only way I'd be scared of leaving the house is if I thought he was on my front garden pulling himself off. And he was going to throw some baby batter my way while I was trying to navigate past him to get to the car. These people are lunatics. Twitter is brilliant for this reason. I could just sit and read it all day long. It's like a collection of the most mentally deficient people in society. It's fantastic read. I've argued about this a lot. I love Twitter because I love reading stuff like that. Like, it's just a fantastic place for mentally ill people to put their scribblings out for the public to laugh at. But yeah, good that, innit? I bet Dave the Bricky from Newcastle is quaking in his boots. Anyway, that'll do you for the day. I think, oh no, I've got one more day when I'll be posting. And then I'm going to Florida for 10 days with my mates from back home. So yeah, I won't be posting for a while. One day left, so I'll see you tomorrow. All right, thanks for watching. See you soon. Toodle pip. Cheers.